So this is going to show you how to find your vanishing point on your photograph. And you're going to be able to do it right in Google Docs and turn it into me and make sure that you understand where everything is receding to on this vanishing point before you actually start your drawing. So on the Google Doc, you are going to first just set up your paper the way that you want. So go under File, Page Setup, and portrait is the up and down one, and landscape is side to side. So depending on how you took your photograph. The photograph I'm going to use is landscape, so I'm choosing that. I don't think the margins matter, but I have really small margins just so things go close to the edge of the paper, and I click OK, and now my paper is horizontal, side to side. Then I'm going to insert a drawing. So insert drawing, and it's going to be a new drawing. And once I'm in here, look for the little photo icon. Your photo should have already been uploaded to Google Classroom, so it should be in your Google Drive. You can put it in your Google Drive if you don't already have it there, but find it in your Google Drive. So I am going to look at my Google Drive, and my pictures are in here. I took a few pictures. I'm going to choose this one for the sample. Hit select. And there it is. Once I have the picture in there, I'm going to draw at least 5 different orthogonal lines. And orthogonal lines are the ones that recede, the ones that are going from you where you're holding the camera back into space toward that wall that you're facing, toward the wall that's far away. And remember, you need to have a picture where you are facing this wall. So it needs to be very flat and horizontal. So right now I can see my floor line is parallel with the edge of my paper at the top and the bottom. It's not slanted at all. And that's how I can tell it's going to be a 1-point perspective. So I'm going to choose this line. There's different line tools. I just want the regular old line tool. And let's see, a strong horizontal line. It's a little wobbly, but the edge of the couch right here. So I can just take, whoops. All right, so I accidentally just moved the picture. One way I can do that or undo that is I'm just going to hit Command Z, and it undoes the last thing that I did. And looking back up here, I'm accidentally on the arrow key. I want to be on the line. So now I'm just kind of moving this around until it's lined up pretty well with the couch, as straight as it can be. I don't know how far I need to make it. I'm sure I don't need to go that high because I'm not taller than my windows. I'm not taller than my door. So I'm just going to go here so I'm sure that it's long enough because it's only going to go as high as your eye level is, and I am sure my eye level is not any taller than that. And I want to change the color of the line so I can see it on top of the picture really clearly. So I'm going to click this and make it blue. If you want to make it a little bit thicker, you can. You don't need to, but you could make it a 2-point instead of a 1-point, or pixel rather, thickness. And then I'm going to do that 4 more times. So go back over here to the line tool. I'm clicking it until nothing is selected. So, whoops, that's the arrow. There we go, line tool. Let me find another orthogonal line. I'm going to do one that's really far away from this one to get started. So let's say this carpet line. I can only see a little bit of it, but I think if I start clicking here, I can really easily tell if I'm on that carpet or not. And I can bring that line up, and where they intersect, that should be my vanishing point. I should be able to do 3 more lines, and if I'm accurate, they should all end right here. So let me try another one that's far away. From this one, I'm going to go back over here to the railing. I can start here, make sure I'm on this line tool. That's the arrow tool. So you see how when I click on the line tool, it toggles on and off of it. So I want to make sure that it looks like, I guess, nothing is selected, and then I can put my cursor here, drag it on top of this railing, bring it all the way over, and pretty close. If I'm right on the railing, so I'm figuring out exactly where it is, so it means one of my other lines maybe isn't completely perfect. Either my rug is crooked on the floor or the couch line isn't perfect, but this is really close. That's good enough. And it's still blue, so 2 more. You can see it's still landing really close to where those other ones are. So it would see my vanishing point is probably, right about here, which would make sense because my eye level would have been about that high when I took this picture. And I want to do one more. Let me see if I can find one above the vanishing point. All of these lines are below the vanishing point right now. The only one I can really find in my photo that's above the vanishing point is this little flower holder that I have on the wall, this plant holder. So I'm going to follow this line, going to click here, follow that metal line down. And if you see, the lines that are on here do match. I can pick like this middle one to make it a little bit more obvious. All right, so now to draw my horizon line, I'm going to draw another line that goes through the middle of this, but all the way from one side of the paper to the other. So if I start here and I just draw a nice horizontal line all the way through, you can see it's a little bit too high up. I'll fix that in a second, but first I want you to make the color orange so it really stands out as being slightly different than your orthogonal lines. That orange line is going to represent your eye level, and I need to bring it down just a little bit. So to move the line, I come over to the select tool, the little arrow, click on it, and now I can just grab that and move it down just a little bit. And then the last thing to do, go under shapes, get the circle, which is actually all the way down here. And when you go to draw shapes, if I draw a circle without holding any buttons, it can be an ellipse. So if I hold the shift button, it keeps it a perfect circle each time. So I'm going to make this a little tiny perfect circle. I'm going to fill it red, make sure I'm on the move or the select tool, and bring that right down onto the horizon line where everything meets, and that is my vanishing point. Click save. And I can see all of those lines on there. The only other lines I want you to add would be this back wall line and the floor lines. So after you have your 5 orthogonal lines down and you've clicked save, double click, go back into it, choose another color for your lines. So let's make this one lime green. And then if I see here, here's another orthogonal line. So I can draw a line that goes from here, whoops, and Z, and where this corner would be, that's where the other floor line would be. So I can't see it because it's behind the couch, but that would go there. And then the other two are up high, so I can't see those. But those green lines represent my 1, 2, and my 3 walls. Title it 1 point room, and that will have you all ready for drawing on real paper.